we really want to help our people kind of jumpstart and be ready for summer because it's going to be such a crazy market. Can the people in the waiting room?
I'm gonna handle that, Amanda. Go ahead.
Amazing. Okay, perfect. And so we all sat down and we said, okay, we're going to do 6 weeks, like a 6-week class, almost like a 6-week challenge. We're going to have 6 different leaders step up. They're all like active recruiters. They're building their revenue share. They have great passive income coming in. They also sell a lot of houses. Each week is going to be a different class and you'll have 6 different takeaways. And my challenge for everyone, we have 23 people in here right now, what I find is as the weeks progress, you'll have 10 people and 5 people, and by the end you'll have like 4 people. And so my challenge to you is to show up to these because we already kind of have a system in place, you know, situated, and we want to share our secrets with you. And so if you come to all 6 of these and you take your notes and you do your takeaways, and everyone's going to have like a little homework fun project by the end of it, it's going to benefit you. And whoever does all of these by the end of the 6 weeks, I will personally set an agent attraction appointment for you. So I will say, this agent, they're interested in EXP, they want to talk to someone, they're looking for a sponsor, here you go, and you will get to sponsor them. And so that's kind of a really cool, exciting thing to look forward to. Plus you'll learn so much. So one of my questions is, know why you're here. So I feel like we have a lot of people here, you know, who could be watching another class or could be watching the news or could be out showing houses, but you made it a point to be here today because for some reason, agent attraction is important to you. I love, we had a new agent hop on here who's in the Kai's group who said, this is important to me. I have a full-time job. I want to start doing this. This is kind of one of the reasons I joined. And so does anyone have want to kind of chime in on why you're here and why, you know, if you have 0 people in your group, why that would be important to you to learn how to grow or to get to the next level?
You told me I had to be here, so I'm here.
Still in training. Yeah, so I love this. It's live a life that makes you jealous. You know, you see, someone had a joke of, you know, if my life was half as fabulous as it is on Facebook, like I would be winning, right? And so I want us to live a life by design where we can go, you know, what if we had this and what if we had that? And before I would go, oh, you know, a perfect life or passive money or those top 1%ers who have all this stuff coming in and are also selling houses and being really successful. That's for those kinds of people. You know, I'm just kind of new, or I'm still learning, or I'm not a recruiter. You know, there's a million reasons that we talk down to ourselves. And so we were on a mastermind. We was there, and there was a lady who got on the stage, and she had gone through all of this mindset of, you know, how she couldn't have what other people, these leaders, were having. And she had a moment when she said, why not me? Like, why not me, right? And so like, I want that to kind of be your mantra leaving this class today, you know, after your little assignment, is why not me? Like if I say that this is important to me and I show up to the classes and I'm learning from the people who are already doing it, why can't I also be successful? So kind of have that in your mind. And there's 2 kinds of mindsets I wanted to kind of really quickly pop into. And I know sometimes it's kind of hard, especially in this market where we're like getting our tails kicked with buyers. And, you know, I feel like, you know, sometimes we're not good at something, so we just want to avoid it and not do it. And so there's the growth mindset that's like, you know, challenge accepted. If I have a challenge, I'm going to grow. If I get uncomfortable, I'm going to grow. If someone tells me I'm doing something wrong, I can learn from that. I want to try new things. And then there's this fixed mindset that's pretty comfortable, right? That we want to kind of stay in of, you know, I don't want to be challenged. I'm in my comfy bubble, you know, failure is the limit of my ability. So if I stay at what I'm good at, I'm never going to fail. I can either do it or I can't. And there's a really quick example of a fixed one is like when I work hard at my schoolwork, it makes me feel like I'm not very smart. If I do it and I'm not good at it, it's because I'm not smart, I'm not good at it, right? The growth mindset says the harder you work at something, the better you get at it. So even if you have no people in your revenue share group, but you say, hey, this is important to me, the more you do this, the better you're going to get. So when Jeff was a new agent, his team leader at the time said, go call 40 people, mess up 40 times, and come back to me and tell me what you learned. And so I feel like, you know, we learn and we grow as we mess up. So just kind of jump out there, know that you're supported, and have that growth mindset. So this is really fun. This is a self-appraisal challenge. So for all of you, we all have a different background. I love the beautiful thing about COVID is it's allowed people from other industries who are rock stars and other things come over to this amazing company. What is the self-appraisal challenge is something that you can really, in a minute, we're going to do our unique value proposition. Say, what are you exceptionally good at? So everyone's going to be really good at something different. Does anyone want to say something that they're really good at? It could be real estate related or people related, or just, I'm stubborn to a fault. I'm going to get it done. A moment to brag.
I'd say I'm stubborn.
I love that.
A moment to confess. Go right ahead.
I'm a good conversationalist.
I love it. You're a people person.
Yeah,
That will
definitely.
go a long way. We are in the people business. So that's amazing. I'm naturally introverted, so I had to kind of overcome that. And so knowing what you're good at and capitalizing on it is the trick of sales and the people business. So kind of know what you're really good at and know what your goals are for this coming year. All of you kind of walked in here going, I know that this is also important. In addition to growing my sales, I want to start doing this revenue share thing, whatever it is, right? And I want to make it a goal. I want to be successful at it because I'm making an effort. So know what you're good at, know what your goals are, and then think about what you can improve to meet those goals. So if you're, let's say, say you're really good at with people, but you really don't know what to say yet, but once you learn that, you've got it figured out, maybe that's the skill set that you need to improve on that we could practice. Is there anything else that you guys want to kind of chime in on, things that you could kind of improve or things that would help you meet your goals, if you've written down your goals yet? Y'all are
For
quiet.
improvement, consistency.
Consistency. I
Being
love that.
consistent.
Yeah. Making it a habit to kind of do this. I've been doing, I have a notebook by my nightstand, and every night I write down all the stuff I need to do the next day. And then I have a checklist, and it really helps me because before I would lay in bed and think about all the stuff I have to do. If I write it down, I know it's going to be taken care of the next day. I can just go to sleep and not worry about it. So really helpful.
You don't forget, I literally did that last night, and I was like, plant yourself at 9:50 and log in so you do not miss this or make an excuse.
Oh, I love it.
And then Kai sent me a reminder yesterday too, so that was helpful.
He's awesome. You have a good sponsor. Yeah, so know what you're good at, know what you're not great at, know what you can work on, know what you can leverage off and tag one of the other leaders in to help you with, and then definitely know your goals. I love this. Jeff showed this to me, and it's just like really stuck with me. Be relentless. Talent only goes so far. And so, in college, I had a really hard major, and there were some people who were much smarter than me, but I studied a lot more. And I think that this industry is the same way, where even if you're not naturally a people person, or maybe you're not naturally know exactly what to say, or you don't know every detail about the model, right? Talent only goes so far, right? Be relentless. And so Bill Gates showed this to people, and he said, how are you successful? And he said, there's no secret. It's very simple. It's a numbers game, right? I showed my plan to 1,200 people. 900 said no. 300 actually listened to me. Of those 300, only 35 did something. Only 35 were serious. And those 35 made me a billionaire. So just like when you guys are calling, 100 leads, and you're like, oh my gosh, like nobody's answering. This guy told me he already bought a house, and so has bad credit. Be relentless. This is your business. You're the only one who's going to make it happen. And I really love that. Hold yourself to the highest standard. And what I found is really helpful and kind of scary is tell your friends and your family your goal. Like make your colleagues in your household hold you accountable, because, I could tell myself, oh, I'm going to do this, this, and this. But it's only me. But if I tell my husband that, or I tell my kids, if mommy hits this goal, we could go to Disney or something, now I have to really do it, right? So I love this. You kind of just save that mindset of be relentless. There's no secret. You just hustle. Get out there, and whoever works the hardest is going to win. Okay, so let's say we're talking about goals. How do you set a goal? Some of you probably already have one. Excuse me. I have pneumonia, you guys. I promise I don't have COVID. So make a specific goal, not just go like, oh, I meet all these new agents, and they're like, I'll ask them what their goal is, and they'll say, oh, I want to make $100,000. And I'm like, that's great. How are you going to do it? And then they look at me like lost puppy dogs, because they don't really have a business plan yet. And the first step of a business plan is kind of setting out that expectation of your goal. And so I say, does anyone have an idea of what their goal is, I guess, for agent attraction for this year, if they're starting off and they really want to ramp up? It can be big, it can be small, it can be simple.
I'm setting my goal for 6 agents this year.
6 agents, I love it. So he has a specific goal, an exact number, and he even made it time sensitive. He said, by the end of the year, I'm going to have 6 agents. So that's the goal of a goal, is you are very specific. You put a time on it, like by this time I'm going to have done it, or I'm not on track, right? That way you can kind of track if every month or every 2 months, if you didn't bring on one person, maybe you're behind and the next month you have to find two. Make it measurable and then make it meaningful and buildable. So for Keela, he could go, okay, what's next, right? I have my 6, maybe I'm going to go to 10. And once I have my 10, maybe I'm going to help those 10 find a couple people, you know? And so the model is really cool because it's so buildable. You can create an empire in just a few years here, which is something we never had at any other brokerage that I've been with. So we're really lucky to be at EXP, especially at this time where we're doing this exponential growth. And I would just hate for people to be here and not take advantage of it and miss out on the opportunity. So I'm glad you guys are
And I
all.
think it's a little more than that, right? Like he said that he wants 6 agents. That's his goal. So let's talk about where those agents are coming from, right? Same thing with houses, right? I want to sell 20 homes this year. Okay, great. That sounds great. So you need, let's say, what, 2 a month or so? Where are those coming from? So can you talk about a little bit about how the different types of agent attractions, like sources? Amanda, maybe the other side of the transaction.
Yeah, I have a slide for that.
Okay, great. I was just talking with really digging down in your goals. Like if you say, I want to get 6 agents, great. Where are they coming from? If I want to get 10 contracts, great. Where are they coming from? Kind of really dig into that.
Yes, absolutely. You have to have, I call it like a hit list almost. Like I'll have a list of 20 people that I worked with that are really amazing. Or, oh my gosh, this guy's a rock star on Facebook. I'm going to make sure that I start a relationship with this person and start going, hey, how's your business? Hey, do you see what's going on? You know, a lot of these people, it might take a little while to build that relationship, but when you really build it, I found a lot of friends are coming to EXP, right? A lot of people are coming over here because the model is so good. And sometimes they go with other people and I never even talked to them. I was like, oh, they're happy at Remax, or they're happy at this boutique, or I talked to them 3 years ago, they're good. And then I'm like, oh my gosh, it's my fault. Just like a client, it's my fault that they didn't buy or sell with me because I didn't go out there and say, hey, I'm still interested in being your business partner.
That is just the same kind of feeling as, you know, you see Mrs. Jones at the mailbox every other week, and then all of a sudden somebody else's sign is in Mrs. Jones's front yard. I mean, it's like the lady 2 doors down, and you never took the time to say, hey, Mrs. Jones, have you ever thought about selling? You just never did it.
Yeah.
You just thought Mrs. Jones was because she's going to call you just by mystical magical. And man, that used to make me so mad. Still does.
Missed opportunity, and it's our own fault. So really, you know, like Jeff said, we call it an ETA, expectation, a target, and action. And we could teach a whole class on that. But if, let's say, your expectation is to have 6 agents, your target is going to be the different buckets, if you will, that will bring you agents. And we have a slide on that. But you know, how you're going to find them, and someone that you worked with, someone in your community, and then the actions of maybe inviting them to a lunch and learn or a happy hour, or going to have coffee with them, like just starting that conversation. And if you really build it out, you could do the same thing with production. I want to sell 20 houses. Let's say 16 are going to be listings, hopefully right now, or however many you want to split it up. These are many going for my sphere of influence, my open houses, and really have a business plan. So you can walk out and go, I know exactly how my year is going to play out, and this is what it's going to look like. So I love this picture, Hui and Tao. Know what you want and know what you need to get there. It's a long-term play. It's a long-term hustle. And so, you know, for production, it could be a vision board, right? Or just for life, you have this like vision of what I want in the future. You know, you've already gone, why not me? And why can't I have it? And what it would mean to me for me to have it, whatever that goal is. But then show it, like lay it out. And so we have these wealth charts. We're going to do a wealth chart party pretty soon. But it's just the people that you've brought on, your goal, and they start off with a goal of 500, which when I first joined EXP, I was like, I'm not a recruiter. I don't want a second job. I hate talking to people that I don't know. I'm super nervous about it. 500 is a really big number. And they went on to show, you know, if you have 500, I mean, you're set, your bills are paid. It's going to grow whether you like it or not. And it just seemed like too big of a number. And so Jeff and I sat down and we said, let's set a goal of finding one person per month that we really like, that's, you know, going to be a great business partner that wants to grow, and we'll do a 5-year plan. And so we sat down and we said, if we find one person per month for 5 years, we'll have 60 people. So all of our levels will be open, and maybe those people we'll tell some other people. And what's exciting is by the end of this month, we'll have just over 600 people in our group. And so I'm telling you, when you see these people and they're like, set a goal that's big, and then you just get uncomfortable and you're like, yeah, I can't do that. That's for those kind of people. I was one of those people, and it absolutely is just a numbers game. If you're consistent and you're relentless, it's inevitable. So do you guys, I have my next slide is for kind of the newbies who have never brought on anyone, or maybe have a couple people. We do like a 5-year plan with them, or even a 2-year plan of how to get to whatever number is important to you. Do any of you guys have a number of, if I had this much per month passively, you know, that would be life-changing. Maybe I would know that my bills are paid, or I would have college money or vacation money. You guys have like a certain number that's monumental to you?
10 grand would be nice.
10 grand, that would be nice.
Yeah.
I love it. Anybody else? I like the big numbers. That's awesome.
You know, I found that
I need 50 grand to survive, and
Sugar daddy, woo! Look at Jenny. Is she expensive or you're expensive? 50 grand to survive. I like that. You could buy both.
you know, I figured that the number really, just to be life changing, really wasn't that much. It's like 4 grand a month, something like that, 3,000 even,
Yeah.
can really make a difference for a lot of people. So the number for me, I mean, 10 grand, of course, would be great. But even if the number was 3 grand, that would still have a significant impact. 3,000 or 4,000, that would have a significant impact for us.
Yeah, that's big, man. I grew up in East Texas. That's a teacher's salary over there, man.
Yeah.
So imagine that. So, and it's the neat thing is that's so attainable. That's exciting. You said, you know, a lot of people they don't want to say, well, $2,000 will change my life, but when they say that and they mean that, that's so exciting because it's so attainable within this model. I mean, go after buyers, go after sellers, talk to agents. And if you do those 3 things very consistently, you know, 2,000 or 3,000 is such an attainable goal. So it'll happen.
And then it grows whether you like it or not. And then Lord forbid something happens, EXP continues to run your business, you get to leave it to your kids. And so it's really, when you say this company is life-changing, it's life-changing, it's crazy. A question that I wrote down is, what's the risk? Like, what's the risk for you guys? You know, for every person who's been really successful, they've had to go through some stuff, right, to get there. They've had to go through a risk, they've had to go through ups and downs, they've had to hustle. Is there like a huge scary risk? I mean, obviously we know the upside's potentially making 3,000 a month to take care of your family, or 10,000 a month. There's not like a huge scary risk other than maybe getting uncomfortable just to get in the flow of it, right? And then knowing that you can tag us in and say, hey, talk to Amanda, hey, talk to Wheat, hey, talk to Jeff. The first month or so, right, of just learning the ropes. But after that, you're building an empire for your family. And so the question I have for everyone, which is kind of a no pressure one, right? Because we all are selling houses because we love them, right? We love helping people. We love seeing the buyers and the sellers, but we really are here at this company to build an empire because we want to take care of our family. And so the question I have is, what am I willing to do to secure a future for my family? You know, like we can all sell 100 houses a year, but we're only as good as our last 30 days. And if I sold 1,000 houses this year, and in 10 years, my kids need something, that didn't benefit them, right? What am I willing to do here with agent attraction that will secure an absolute future for our kids? And so that was a big aha for me of, I don't even have an option to not get uncomfortable. Like, I have been given this opportunity that I'm sitting on, that we need to jump in and do it. So John, I loved your number of 10,000. How long do you think it would take to build a group? You know, not if you're doing this full time, because we all are selling houses, but let's say you committed, you know, it's like a Freedom Friday or a Wealth Building Wednesday of like 2 hours a week. How long do you think it would take to build an empire that would pay you $10,000 a month?
I think I could do it in a year if I focused on it. I think all of us could do it within a year if we focused. I think our biggest obstacles are ourselves, and just staying focused, whether it be agent attraction, real estate, whatever it is. If you spent your time wisely and diverted it from the garbage that gets in our way on a daily basis, there's really no reason, especially with, your team, Amanda, that you built here, and all the support that all the people in your group get. This is an amazing company, and I'm in Florida, you're in Texas. Brent Gove called me once in a while. I mean, all these people that are willing to help you, there's really no reason that we shouldn't set high goals, and why be afraid to achieve them? I think let's not be afraid. Let's be bold. That's what we're telling our group here.
I love that. Absolutely. And it is scary to watch your group grow. Sometimes I text Jeff and I'm like, oh my gosh, like it just stresses me out in a great way that I'm like, I can't believe that I'm now seeing, what I envisioned a couple of years ago is really happening. It's crazy. Okay. What about for a $3,000 goal? What do you think? How long do you think it would take you to get there? Not working full time, just like a couple hours here and there, just being intentional. I'm going to show you. So here's my 5-year plan for newbies who just started. I use the same calculator. I sit down with every one of my leaders and we go over this, and we do a 5-year plan and also a 2-year plan. And how it works is it assumes that everyone you bring on will take 2 months to kind of get situated. So they're not selling houses for the first couple of months. There's a cushion there. And then when they do get situated, they're only going to be like a third of the way capping, right? So instead of getting about $3,000 per person, you're getting $800 per person. And so there's a lot of cushion in this to where it's going to grow a lot more than that, especially if you're doing masterminds and trainings and lead generation and things to help them be what they want to be as a great realtor. But for everyone, if you guys started today in April, it's kind of the beginning of April, and you just had one person that you had a meaningful conversation with, you invited them to EXP. We have lunch and learns now kind of starting in person. We have them online, I think 3 times a week. If you found just one person in April and then one person in May and helped those people get a couple people, right? And you can just stay consistent. What I love about this is I can use this as a marker of, am I on track? Am I kind of ahead of schedule? Am I behind schedule? You're going to have 31 people by the end of the year. And then on average, your next year, you'll grow 12% and then 10% from then on. And what's really cool for me, when I first started Agent Attraction, I was like, okay, I'm talking to some people, I'm getting uncomfortable, I'm building something, I've got this group now, this is fun. But I was only making a few $100s and then maybe a few $1,000s, which was nice, but that's time away from my family that I want to make sure it's really going to be worth it. And what's really cool here is you can see your first year is kind of, it's cool. You have 31 people, which for most people in this group, that's monumental. I hit my goal times 5, right? What's crazy is the next year it's going to triple. And the next year it's going to triple. And the next year it's going to triple. And at that point, it's not you who's bringing on, let's say, from January to February for 2022, 5 people. You might bring on one person, and then the rest of your group all brings in one person. Just 10% of them are going to bring in one person. And so last month we had 75 people join our group. I brought on one of them. Talk about leverage and scalability, right? Crazy. I know it started the same way. This is just math. It's guaranteed. Every leader who has this calculator tracks it and says it's on point or I'm ahead of schedule. Like it's never, okay, I'm behind or this lied to me. This is inevitable. And so if you sat down and you did a 5-year plan of, if I started today and I brought on one person, and if by the end of May, I had 2 people, and we will help you get there, especially if you finish this class, I'll give you a person, right? To kind of jumpstart this for you. What's mind blowing is by year 4, you're going to have over 1,000 people in your group. And that's where we are. We're at year 4. We did the same thing. We're going to have over 1,200 people in our group this year. And so seeing someone who has thousands of people in their group, that's overwhelming and stressful for me, right? But seeing that if I just find one person in April and maybe one person in May, and maybe I help those people get a couple people for June, then I'm on track. Do you guys all agree that that's something that doesn't feel so scary? That's something that we can actually obtain and do, especially with the tools that we have.
Yes. Oh yeah, easy.
Easy. We got this. Which is amazing. Okay, so this is kind of my goal for everyone. If you guys want to screenshot this, or I'll save it. But just
no, it's good. It's all about the compounding. If you can see, obviously, that question, right? I'll give you $1 million right now, or I'll give you a penny that doubles every day for 30 days. What are you taking, right? And everyone knows, I guess I'll take the $1 million, but the penny a day that doubles every day for 30 days ends up being like, it's a crazy number, isn't it? Like 3 or 4 or 5 million bucks or something.
Yeah, 3 million change.
Same thing happens here, right? The first year, not that bad. You're just help people. Second year, you're really starting to grow. You're at 105. But as you can see, just 4 or 5 years down the road with really consistent touches on all this kind of stuff, that number starts tripling. And when 30 triples, it's exciting. It's 100. But when 100 triples, it's 300. So the compound effect and the organic growth is what I found most surprising within this model. It's not something that you have to do yourself. So if you're brand new, the only thing I think that you need to do, and Amanda will agree, is just get someone interested in why you're at EXP. Don't try to educate them or anything like that. Get them interested in the model. Get them to your sponsor. Get them to me, Amanda. We have a lunch and learn this Friday. And then this stuff will start happening for sure.
And don't look at the big numbers and get worried. I mean, it's exciting, right? I could have 1,000. I could be one of those Pat Hayes people or Rent Go people down the road, but just focus on, I only need 1. And for next month, I only need 2. So if I get 2 this month, I'm good until summer, right? Just take it like baby steps at a time. But this is the exciting part. Let me show you what it means financially for you. So again, there's like a 60-day cushion where they assume that people aren't doing anything for 2 months. But in April, let's say you had someone join, you might make like 50, 60 bucks, right? Again, not exciting, but still it's baby steps. By the end of the year, because you kept growing and you have about 30 people now, you're up to $1,000 a month, which again, you're like, okay, I've been working for 6, 7 months and I'm only making $1,000 a month, but still that's passive income that now you're good. You've laid that foundation. What's crazy is your $3,000 for this year turns into $50,000 for next year. And so for those of you who had a goal of, let's say, $3,000 a month would be, helpful, right? My $4,000 a month would help cover all my bills. If you start now and you just do this a couple hours a week and you use the systems that we have, by next summer, you've already hit your goal. Like you're good, you're done. If you have a big goal like John and you don't want to do this full time, you just want to do it a little bit at a time of 10,000 in 2 years. So if you say, I'm going to make a 2-year goal, we did this with Joe a couple of weeks ago. And I said, what's your number? And he said 10,000. And so we laid down a 2-year plan and he went and he told his wife, he's like, wife, I have a plan. I'm going to do this within 2 years. We're going to have $10,000 a month coming in passively. So tell that to your spouse and they'll be like, oh my gosh, how are you going to do that? But now you can see it. What's crazy is by the second full year, you're at 200,000 and then 600,000 and then 1.9 million. So like Jeff said, compounding, it is crazy. And these are the same exact numbers as the last sheet. Same people, same, I just need to get 1. I just need to get 2. I just need to help 2 people get 2. Baby steps. But if you guys sit down and you do let's say a 5-year plan of I want 6 figures a month passively while I'm selling real estate, you just take it a little bit at a time and grow 10% at a time. You'll be there. How do you guys feel about this chart?
Man, that's awesome. That looks great.
It's just math. It's crazy. For me, I'm like, there's no way. Like, there's just no way. But it's inevitable. I mean, if you just grow a little bit and you can track it and everybody's growing with you. And what's crazy is we see these other leaders doing it. It's inevitable that the company will be at 100,000 agents by the end of the year. I mean, we're just growing way too fast. People are looking for sponsors to sign up for the company. So kind of look at this if you want to save this screenshot and just say, what's that number? For me, 40,000 was the, okay, I'm good. Like I could pay all my bills. I could put money in retirement. I could travel the world and still have money left over, right? You can have a vacation house somewhere, which sounded crazy, but at 4 years in, we're hitting that. So now I'm like, okay, well, if I could do this, then I can do 100,000 a year, right? The number 1 rev share earner in the company, Rob Flick, he has some health issues and he was in the hospital and he lost his entire house and everything. He moved into a 10x10 room in his parents' house. And he said, my goal for passive income, he really had the vision for it. I had never had passive income. I didn't even know, that was an option, was to earn $100 more than it cost him to live. It was that simple. If I could earn $100 more than what my bills are, I'm good, right? Then I know if I get hit by a bus tomorrow, my mortgage is still paid. And we have the luxury of making even bigger goals of how can we pay cash for a condo if we wanted to, or how can we buy a house or an investment house, or choose what clients you want to work with. You don't have to work with that jerk client anymore. You could refer it out because you have passive income coming in. So if all of you will be in business for the next 2 to 5 years, and I think you will be, sit down and do a 2-year plan and say, this is what it would look like to have 10,000 a month passive coming in. And why not me? What am I willing to do for my future, my income, of knowing I don't have to be stressed out about that closing being delayed by 2 weeks because I'm going to be able to make my bills anyway. But this for sure has been life-changing for us. And I think that this year is a tipping point for EXP where we're growing so much. People are flocking to the company and they're going to pick a sponsor. So why not you, right? Awesome. We'll save this. I'll also share it with the group. So this is really neat. Like I said, a lot of people are joining the company and now they're getting to the point where they're just kind of like looking for people that they connect with. You know, maybe they're looking for a sponsor, maybe they want to have a conversation about it. And so for production, we make everyone on our team do a unique value proposition. Here in Houston, there's over 40,000 realtors. So when someone says, I'm interviewing 3 listing agents, why do I need to work with you? I have a unique value proposition that I spit off. That's like, you know, I practiced it in the mirror, I memorized it. And so I think all of us as sponsors, we need to have a unique value proposition of why we, whatever industry we're from or whatever history we have, if you're good with investors, you're great with people, you really take the time to make the offer or whatever the best it can be. You know, I'm going to sit down and help you do your email signature, whatever that unique value proposition is. It could just be, I'm going to plug you into Team Legacy stuff. You're going to have script practice twice a week. You're going to have masterminds. We're going to help you grow your passive income. It doesn't have to be anything you do, just plug into the systems. But a challenge for you, because you're going to get 2 like homeworks, if you will, this week. Every week will be a different class and a different teacher, is to come up with your unique value proposition. One for, hey, this is why I'm an amazing sponsor and you need to work with me, even if I'm brand new and learning with you. And then one also for production. If I was like, hey, Hui, why would I want to work with you when I could work with my cousin or my sister or my neighbor or, you know, some random I met at the grocery store? You need to know exactly why you're valuable and why you're unique and why they should work with you. Same thing with EXP. So what I found is a lot of recruiters, God bless them, they only talk about rev share and stocks. They're like, oh, you need to come with us. We've got multiple streams of income and you're going to get revenue share and we're recruiting and we're growing and you're going to get all this stock and everyone's going to be a millionaire, right? And they forget that they're talking to realtors who just worked their tail off to pass their test to sell houses, right? That's our passion. We want to work with our clients. And so here's a couple quick unique value propositions that EXP offers that I want you guys just to remember. We'll just flip through them pretty quickly because you should know them, but know your value. When you're going into a conversation, know that you're bringing your value to that client, that person. Don't go, oh, I'm afraid to talk to you. I've had people who have joined other groups and been wildly successful. And I could have talked to them 3 years ago. And they came up to me a year later and they said, why didn't you tell me about EXP? You know how much time and money I lost because you didn't tell me about it 3 years ago. And so know that you have a value, know that our group actually cares and we're being supportive of our people and that their business is going to benefit. So kind of go in there with that mindset. But here's some things that you guys might not know are advertised. If you are in a bigger city like Dallas or Houston or San Antonio, we have something called AMP. It's the automated marketing program that EXP offers. So if you sign up, you connect your MLS to this. As soon as you have a listing within 48 hours, they send you 10 marketing pieces. So you'll get, you know, door hangers, you'll get flyers, you'll get social media posts. You can download a flyer and share it on Facebook and tag your client. It looks like you have it going on. All of it is automatic in addition to the marketing department. There's a whole recruiting video on AMP. If you guys don't know about it, watch it, because when realtors sit down and they're comparing apples to oranges kind of thing, you want to say, this is why we're a tech company and this is how it benefits you in sales. Instant broker support, right? So a lot of them are like, okay, I talked to my broker Tuesday at 2 o'clock. I can have a meeting with you. We're going to talk for 15 minutes, right? Here, it's not like that. We have 600 full-time employees. And so it's instant and you can relate to them. Go, this crazy market, your broker's going to call you in 4 hours. Like, don't you have highest and best by noon, right? We've got a crazy market. What if you could have your answer for your broker in 5 minutes or less, or the transaction team of over 300 people in 2 minutes or less? You know, wouldn't that be great? And go, you don't have to just go into the cloud office. You can call them, you can text them, you can email them, you can workplace message them. You know, you're not just limited to this this cloud office environment that that maybe you're afraid of because you're not tech savvy. And so we're a real office too. They have real phones, they have real support, and know your people, know what their phone number is, know what their email is, know who the onboarding person is for your area. That way, when they come to you, you can say, I have a whole system in place. KV Core, people are like, oh yeah, it's cool that you do lead generation and you get leads. Well, what else do you do in addition to leads? All of us realtors are terrible at keeping up with our sphere of influence, right? We know we should do it. We know we should organize our database. We just don't do it. Well, what if all that was automated for you? Happy birthdays, Merry Christmases, Happy New Year's. Don't forget to do your homestead exemption. What if you could set up a campaign and just be done with that? Wouldn't that bring you value? Wouldn't you probably get more referrals from that? Never miss a follow-up, instant leverage, automation. Let's say you're dealing with all these, multiple offer situations and you want to target off market. You can pull a whole subdivision of information and mass drop, a voicemail to them like you called them, mass text them, mass email them, 2,000 people if you wanted to. When I tell that to other people, they're like, I'm in. That's all I needed to know, right? If they're an investor or they want to deal with off market or they just don't want to be competitive anymore, that value proposition alone is like, I'm in, right? In addition to lead generation. Connect with subdivisions at a time, and then also express offers. If you guys are in a big city, talk about express offers and how it's combating Open Door and Redfin, and it doesn't count the realtor, and you have a chance to get double paid, and your client might get more than one offer, and it gets your foot in the door. You can have so many listings because of that. And so show them all the different things that we do to bring you, maybe you'll double your business, maybe you'll triple your business. There's Kyle Handy has a great website. If you guys haven't creeped on his website, kylehandy.com. It is epic. Anything you ever want to know about EXP is awesome on there. EXP is not a franchise. So this is my mom's #1 recruiting tool that she uses. And it's actually kind of brilliant. So let's say I'm in Houston and I make an offer for a client on something that's 2 hours north of me, right? Maybe it's a piece of land. I never even showed it. Well, a lot of brokers will say, if you're within our MLS, we're going to pay you 3%. But if you're not, we're going to pay you nothing. Or maybe you get 1%. And so when you're talking to these prospective people who are going to interview the franchises, say, when you were licensed, you passed your test, let's say for Texas, you're licensed in all of Texas. You can do business in all of Texas, and EXP is a member of MLS in all of those MLSs in Texas or wherever your state is, right? And so when you're interviewing another broker, let's say I was at KW Metropolitan, which was in the Galleria of Houston. That broker wasn't a member of another MLS. Yes, it could have been an international company or a national company, but it wasn't really, because it was a franchise model. And so because my broker wasn't a member of the MLS 2 hours north of me, I wasn't going to get paid the full 3%. But here we are, because we're licensed in Texas and our broker is a member of that. So tell them, ask your broker what other MLSs they're a member of, and they'll come back and be like, wow, I was really surprised. They are actually geographically limited and we're not. Same thing with expansion teams. If you want to grow somewhere else, is your broker going to let you do that? Or are you going to have to pay to be a member of that MLS? The marketing center, you guys, we need to talk about that for everybody, right? Because people are like, oh yeah, I just feel like I don't have this, or I don't have that, or I'm not capable of that. You can say we have door hangers, buyer presentation, 8 different listing presentations. We have modern ones, contemporary ones. We have ones that are traditional, whatever your style is. So if you give them every resource they need to have the Realtor 101 starter packet, there's no reason for them to go anywhere else. In addition to the stock and revenue share, it should be almost like we have so much value for production, and while you're producing, you're going to earn stock. And while you're earning stock and you're really happy about the company, you might share it with someone else, then you get revenue share. Lead with that. Does anyone know that we have listing syndication? That's awesome. People are not pitching this. It's crazy. So EXP, because we're a technology-based company, I can walk into a listing presentation and say, I'm going to market your property 6 times better than any other realtor you're going to interview. And most of the time, people are going to find a house online first, right? So first place they shop. Well, if you put a house on a typical MLS, I know with her, it's about 125 to 150 different websites. EXP pays for listing syndication to an additional 650 websites, most of which are international. So instead of going out and doing a targeted Facebook audience, whatever, of let's say in the Woodlands, 12% of the cash buyers are coming from Mexico, you don't have to target them anymore. We have listing syndication. We're on their local MLS because I work with a tech company. That's going to help you, right? We're not right now. You don't need help selling listings; they're flying off the market. But that will help you get the listing, right?
Did you get this slide from EXP, their marketing?
This last one I did. This one, if you go to EXP Listing Syndication List Hub, LISTHUB, that's who they pay. It lists all 650 websites.
Thank you.
Yes. I actually have a story about that. A few years ago, I had a house in Katy and it was $700,000. I got a full price cash offer from some guy in China. And I thought it was like a Craigslist scam, right? It was like 2-week closing. I was super stressed the whole time. We were like, let's take the risk. It'll be worth it. We closed, we funded, got everything done. And so I emailed them and I said, thank you so much. Like, you're my new best friend. I double-sided this great deal. How'd you find my house? Was it on HER.com, which is what we use in Houston? And he replied back, he said, I've never heard of that before. He was on Fang.com, his local MLS, and there were only 7 houses in Katy on his local MLS, and mine was one of them, because I work with a tech company who pays for listing syndication. You don't have to click any extra buttons. You don't have to pay for anything. We need to market these things that EXP is doing, or even just be aware of them. It's crazy. Also, we have a director of growth now. We hired Sydney. She's our expansion manager for Team Legacy. So we have a person that our group has hired because we're so committed on you growing your business and getting plugged in and being supported, that an additional, to maybe our 9 or 10 brokers that Texas has and our staff, 500 or 600 people that we have like an on-site person who will answer your calls, who will do a one-on-one Zoom with you, who will just be another resource for you. And so just showing that we really care and we have all these systems in place for them to sell a bunch of houses is all they're going to need to see. Okay, so Jeff, here's your slide, if you will. So if you guys are like, I'm brand new, I don't know any realtors, have no idea who to talk to. One is an investor seminar. I know that there's some people doing that right now, and that's really cool because not only do you get clients, right? Because you get these buyers who want to be first-time home buyers or they want to be an investor. A lot of investors right now who are doing wholesaling and assigning want to get their real estate license, because when they get, let's say they have a listing, right? Like an off-market listing, they're getting all these buyer leads off of it that they're either giving away, or they're trying to get creative with, but they can't get paid on. And so they're like, I need to get my license so I can sell my house for free, don't have to pay a realtor. I can do acquisitions and I get to keep that 3%. And I have all these buyer leads that I'm missing out on. And so connecting with investors that don't have their license, they're in the process now. They're starting to get it. And we all know you can do that online right now. So untapped market, if you will, as investors. Agents who come into, who just list a house in your area. So let's say you're in a certain subdivision or bubble and you see a house that hits the market. Before you be like, oh, great, another realtor or another listing. Reach out and be like, oh my gosh, congratulations, you just sold that in 3 days. I can't believe that. Your pictures looked amazing. And just kind of reach out and start that conversation. I think that there's so many houses that are bought and sold, even if you weren't representing the buyer or the seller, if you just kind of reach out and go, hey, congrats, or, oh, I think I've got a buyer for this one, and just make an excuse to kind of have that conversation with them, especially if they're top producers. If they're getting listings, they're probably getting buyers, they're selling houses. Start a conversation. I know Shima just recruited 2 people by inviting them to coffee. She's like, let's go have coffee. And they're like, oh yeah, I'll have coffee with you, but I'm not changing. I'm super happy. I'm not doing things but no thanks. And by the end of it, she met a client at the coffee shop and she recruited someone. And so just going out there and just having as many conversations as you can. Just like we say, don't be a secret agent. Don't be a secret EXPer either. Leads. So if you guys have seen, a lot of people are doing these landing pages, and EXP's KB Core does those landing pages for recruiting. So you guys can do that now, or learn more about the company, click here kind of thing. Or I see a lot of Jeremy Smith's doing a new agent training. Hey, if you guys want to see how to win on multiple offer situations, come to this training. And he has he'll have like 100 new agents register. And the class is free, but the price you're paying is your information, or he's getting their phone number, their email address, and then he has a drip campaign that they go on. Then he tries to set up a Calendly and a Zoom with them. And so any kind of thing that you can do, maybe a blog of, hey, Lakeside Living, or, Hui has these great blogs of multiple streams of income. He calls it cash flow agent. And so anything that you can kind of do that people are like, oh, that's kind of, I'm kind of curious about that, or I want to check that out. Those are so understated. Like, we are missing out on a huge opportunity of people who are kind of interested. They want to grow. They're looking for something different, but they're just too afraid to reach out. They'll easily click on that and they'll give you your information. You can start the conversation. Podcasts, be a guest on a podcast. I know we have some radio stations here. We have some podcasts here. We have that Disruption Nation. They're always looking for realtors to interview, especially if they have like a cool story or a cool background, or they're really, productive. Most realtors are too busy to go up there and do the interview. But what I found is if you do, other realtors are paying attention to that. You get clients from it, you get referrals from that. So any time that you can be on a stage and get an audience, take advantage of it. Someone did a book that I really loved. It was just a quick PDF, right? But it was, you had to give your information for it. And it was everything I wish I knew when. So maybe everything I wish I knew 10 years ago when I started real estate, or everything I wish I knew before I flipped my first house, or everything I wish I knew before I took my license test, or whatever it could be that you kind of have a foundational understanding on. And someone's going to go, oh, I wish I knew that, or oh, I could learn from that, right? They're going to click on it and you're going to go, hey, are you flipping a house, or are you taking your license test, or are you whatever? Again, you're just opening that door to talk to someone that you've never talked to before. A great secret that Rob actually told me, and it's so true, 1/3 of your recruits are going to come from your vendor partners. So your lenders, your title company people, your inspectors, your home warranty people, their entire business is real estate, is realtors, right? They're the first ones to know when those realtors are super busy or not happy, or they're irritated with their broker, or they're not getting their CDA on time. They're the first ones. And so you can just start a conversation with those vendors and say, hey, I'm really building out a great team here and wherever you are. I just want the opportunity to have a conversation with someone. So if you know of anyone who's kind of not happy with their broker, or they're looking to grow, or they're looking to change, and they're open to a conversation, can you just tag me in, or give me their info, or do a 3-way text or something? And a lot of times that agent really appreciates that. But I would say at least 1/3 of my people are coming from my vendors. You guys have any good vendors in mind that might know a lot of realtors?
I usually, ask my loan officer here and there to see if, if any unhappy realtor that she talked to that I can connect with.
Smart. It works. It really does work. New agents. So if you are, there's lots of new agent classes, but Champions is big in Houston. And so if you're an alumni there, you took a CE class or anything, you can go speak in front of them. I know, Cam, you just did a virtual career fair, didn't you?
Yes, Champions works really well. If you need to, they have a protocol that you have to follow in order to speak. But if you follow the protocol, then they'll let you speak. And and I will tell you what it is. It's so easy. You go in, you take a gift certificate, and you can't speak, but for, I'm not exaggerating, 6 or 7 minutes. And then what we do is I just pass out a little flyer with a QR code on it. So that makes them click the QR code to get in the drawing, and then bang, you've got their name and number. And I mean, it's just like you just go for it. Then I plug them into KV Core and just go from there. So, and then I was on a career fair with some people from Austin. So actually, if somebody has a revenue group in Austin, I don't know anybody in Austin, but I just did it. So anyway, one other thing while Amanda, I have the floor, is that thing for vendors. Oh my gosh, we're going to do something like that where for our group, where you have to come and you bring a vendor, and then that'll attract top producers come to if they could bring a vendor. So anyway, that's what I heard last week.
Vendors right now are like pulling teeth to get in front of agents. I mean, they don't do the Zoom live thing. They're used to going out and being in front of a bunch of people, and so they're happy to connect with you. Be intentional. Like when you start a conversation, begin with the end in mind kind of thing. Build that relationship. It's not a quick one and done. You want to really build it and make it easy. Have a system in place. So some people are like, oh, I ran into this guy last Thursday. Can you call him? That's not organized, right? Set an appointment, do a 3-way text, send them our Calendly. If you don't have a Calendly, it's free. Get a Calendly. Make it really easy for them to get the information, right? Have a system, and then have some kind of if it's a notebook, if it's a Google spreadsheet, if it's a CRM, if it's, I think there's a CRM Grow now. There's so many options, but just have a system in place. Treat it like a business of, this is how they set their appointments every single time. This is how they're going to get the information, whether it be Zoom or coffee date or lunch and learn. This is my follow-up, and here's my CRM to make sure I go, good luck on your test on Friday, right? Or good luck on your closing, or you said in 6 weeks you'd be finished with X, Y, and Z. So get a system. And then lastly, know your audience. So this is really helpful for me. I know we're running out of time, of painting the vision. So a lot of us are like, we know the long-term play. And then, long-term is once you build it out, you create 5 leaders. So let's say you need 5 leaders and you have 10 people and only 2 of those people are leaders. You need to go find 10 more people to get maybe your 5 leaders. But knowing your audience and being able to paint the vision is so huge, because every realtor has a different family, success story, definition of success, reason why they're doing it, niche market. And so knowing quickly what they need to grow their business and those pain points will really help you. So here's a quick little script. I have a couple I'll go through really quick. One is how do you get the team to realize that they need a change, right? Because everything's going great. I don't have a negative present. Everything's awesome right now. If you could rank your broker on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being the best and 1 being needs improvement, let's see if I can move this, of overall, what would you rank them? And most people are going to say, oh, they're an 8 or they're a 9 or, you know, they're a whatever that might be. Okay, could you rank them on the education that they're able to give you daily to daily improve your knowledge, mindset, and habit? Well, I don't have a class daily, maybe like once a week or twice a week. You know, I don't have that opportunity. Well, tell me about the technology that your broker's providing you so that you can close more transactions. Some of them will have something, if they're with KW Korea, they're going to have an event where they're going to complain about something. Most of them don't have an amazing lead generation CRM. If you could rank your current brokerage on how willing they are to sell company stock to you at a discount, or that they're able to give stock on a scale of 0 to 10, oh, well, we don't have that, right? Tell me about your existing brokerage and their ability to create residual income by helping grow the company, other than like a Starbucks gift card, right? Let's say something happens to you. What would happen to your business? What would happen to your family, right? Like having that conversation of, you know, the company is going to continue to grow it. And then talking about production. What did you close last year? Or what do you want to close this year? Let's say your average price point is 200. If you could close an extra 12 houses a year, I mean, would you be interested in learning how to do that? Let's see if I can go back. What would you do with the extra money, right? So just like I'm asking you guys, of $10,000 a month, what would you do with the extra money? Instantly, you start to picture your life with that $10,000 a month, where that money would go to, how you wouldn't have to worry. Maybe you'd go on vacation, or what you would pay off, or what mother-in-law you would help, or whatever that might be. Paint that vision for them of, are you willing to do something different to get there's a book called Gap Selling, if you guys haven't read it, but what are you willing to do different to get to where you want to be? Anyway, yeah. So within your current brokerage model, how are you going to get there? So if they said, I want $10,000 a month passive income, within where you are now and what your goals you've already told me are important to you, how are you going to get there? Are you willing to do something different? If I could show you a way to go from 24 closings to 36 closings without spending any extra money, so you can get that boat or get that investment property or pay for that college, would you be interested in that? Anyway, then you can go through all the pitches of the lead generation referral partners, things that, you know, they don't have to work every weekend. We have showing concierge, we have a mentor. They could be a mentor if they wanted to. They could have someone else hold their open house. So just learning to paint that vision of knowing what their why is huge. And then lastly, find your 5 leaders. So for me, I found 5 and now I'm growing. I'm going to find 5 more kind of thing. But that should be your mindset of, I'm going to have 30 people by the end of the group, by the end of the year, maybe by the end of next year, I have 5 amazing leaders that I could also sit down with and teach them how to do whatever I'm doing. But we're absolutely changing lives. We're creating leverage. We're building wealth. We're helping other people, which is really cool. Is when you guys hit your goal, I'm also hitting my goal. So don't hesitate to reach out to us. But I'm really excited and honored to be in business with you. So challenge for this week is invite one person to either a lunch and learn. We have one in person. Let's see.